March 14, 1934. Nevada, Humboldt County. A silver prospector named Raymond Blackwell descended into an abandoned mine shaft. He was 47 years old, 20 years experience. He knew every inch of the Great Basin mining territory. When they pulled him back up 11 hours later, his right hand was burned. Not from fire, not from acid, from cold. Cold that doesn't exist in the Nevada desert. The first thing he said, "It's older than the mine." The second thing, "It's still running." Raymond Blackwell was not a romantic. He was a geologist, trained at Colorado School of Mines, worked for Anaconda Copper from 1919 to 1929. Laid off during the Depression, by 1934 he was freelancing, checking old claims, looking for overlooked veins. The Humboldt shaft had been abandoned in 1907. Official reason: depleted ore body. The company pulled out, sealed the entrance, moved on. But Blackwell found something in the county records, a surveyor's note from 1906. 1 year before closure, the note said, "Excavation halted at 940 feet. Foreman requests geological consultation. Samples exhibit non-standard thermal properties." Non-standard thermal properties. That's engineer speak for "we don't know what this is." The consultation never happened. The mine closed 3 months later. Blackwell wanted to know why. The Humboldt shaft wasn't just abandoned, it was buried. Most shuttered mines get a wooden cap, maybe a chain link fence. Humboldt got 40 tons of concrete poured over the entrance, in 1907, in the middle of nowhere. At significant expense. Someone really didn't want anyone going back down. Blackwell hired 2 men, local miners, paid them cash. No paperwork, took them 3 days to drill through the concrete seal. When they broke through, air rushed out, cold air, in March, in Nevada. One of the miners, Frank Delgado, later told his daughter, "It smelled like winter, but not like any winter I ever knew." They rigged a rope ladder. Blackwell went down first. The upper shaft was normal, standard timber supports, standard rock face, standard tool marks. At 600 feet the timber stopped. What replaced it wasn't wood, wasn't steel, wasn't anything Blackwell had seen in 20 years of mining. He described it in his field notes as dark gray material, smooth surface, warm to touch, no visible joints or fasteners. The supports looked poured, but they predated Portland cement by centuries. At 800 feet the shaft changed angle, not a gradual curve, a clean geometric shift, 15 degrees off vertical, perfectly calculated. No mining company in 1907 had equipment to cut a shaft at a precise angle change. You either go straight down or you follow the vein. You don't make controlled angular adjustments. Blackwell kept going. At 920 feet, his carbide lamp started flickering. Not from low fuel. The reservoir was 3/4 full. The flame was reacting to something in the air, something that wasn't gas, wasn't carbon monoxide, wasn't methane. It was colder. At 940 feet, the shaft ended. Not collapsed, not blocked, ended. There was a wall, smooth, seamless. Same gray material as the support beams. In the center of the wall, a circular depression, about 2 feet in diameter, 6 inches deep. Inside the depression, symbols, not carved, not engraved, raised, as if the wall had been poured around them. Blackwell recognized 3 of the symbols. They matched petroglyphs from Paiute sacred sites, sites that archaeologists dated to 800 AD. But the Paiute didn't mine. They didn't use metal tools. They didn't pour concrete-like materials into underground shafts. And they definitely didn't build 940-foot vertical passages with precision angle changes. Blackwell touched the depression. The wall moved. Not like a door on hinges. Like a stone sinking into water. It descended straight down into the floor. Silent, smooth, impossible. Behind it, a chamber. The chamber was lit. No torches, no lanterns, no electrical fixtures. The walls themselves emitted light, soft, even, the color of moonlight on snow, Blackwell turned off his lamp to be sure. He wasn't imagining it. The chamber was roughly hexagonal, about 30 feet across. Ceiling height, 12 feet. In the center stood a structure. Blackwell's notes call it the mechanism. It was roughly cylindrical, 8 feet tall, 4 feet in diameter, made of the same gray material. But this wasn't poured. This was machined. The surface had grooves, spiraling grooves, perfectly uniform depth, perfectly uniform spacing. At the base, 6 apertures, each aperture 4 inches in diameter, each one angled slightly inward, each one emitting cold, not air, just cold. Blackwell held his hand 6 inches from one aperture. He counted to 10. When he pulled his hand back, the skin was white. Frostbite white, in a Nevada mine. In March, the mechanism made no sound, no hum, no vibration, but it was running. Blackwell knew machinery. He'd worked in smelters. He'd worked in stamp mills. He knew what active equipment felt like. This was active. On the far wall of the chamber, 3 panels. Each panel covered in the same raised symbols. Each symbol approximately 2 inches high, each one glowing faintly. The glow pulsed, very slow, maybe once every 30 seconds. Blackwell copied 14 symbols into his notebook. He didn't touch the panels. He didn't touch the mechanism. He later told a colleague, "I had the distinct impression that touching it would be a mistake. Not dangerous, just inappropriate. Like opening someone else's mail." Blackwell spent 90 minutes in that chamber. When he climbed back to the surface, his watch had stopped. Mechanical watch, self-winding. It had stopped at exactly 11:47. The 2 miners he'd hired were gone. They'd waited 6 hours, then left. Blackwell never saw them again. Blackwell tried to report his findings. He contacted the U.S. Geological Survey. They sent a polite letter, thanked him for his interest, suggested he consult a medical professional. He contacted the Bureau of Mines. They informed him that unauthorized entry into sealed federal land was a felony. The Humboldt shaft had been classified as federal property in 1908. Blackwell had no record of that classification. Neither did the county. But the Bureau did. In 1936, Blackwell tried again. He wrote to the Smithsonian, included sketches of the symbols, included his field notes. He received a response from a Dr. Edwin Cartwright, assistant curator of anthropology. Cartwright wrote, "Your sketches are fascinating but inconclusive. Without physical samples or photographic evidence, we cannot proceed." Blackwell offered to lead an expedition. Cartwright replied that funding was unavailable. Dr. Edwin Cartwright's employment records show he left the Smithsonian in 1937, no forwarding address, no subsequent academic publications. In 1941, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers conducted a routine survey of Humboldt County. They resealed the Humboldt shaft with an additional 60 tons of concrete, and a steel cap, and a fence, and a sign that read, "Danger, Unstable Ground." The area is still fenced today. In 1998, a USGS geologist named Patricia Orozco requested access to conduct mineral surveys. Request denied. Reason given: ongoing environmental assessment. No assessment records exist. Raymond Blackwell died in 1952. Heart failure. He was 65. His daughter donated his papers to the Nevada Historical Society in 1979. The papers included his field notes from the Humboldt descent. The notes included the 14 symbols. In 2007, a linguist named Dr. Aaron Hoffmann was cataloging Native American petroglyphs for a doctoral thesis. He found Blackwell's symbols in the NHS archives. 6 of the 14 matched petroglyphs from sites across the Great Basin, sites dated between 700 AD and 1100 AD. But 3 symbols matched nothing in the existing archaeological record until 2013. A satellite survey of the Nazca region in Peru identified previously unknown geoglyphs. One geoglyph, 400 feet across, visible only from altitude. It contained the same 3 symbols, pixel-perfect match. Dr. Hoffmann tried to publish. 3 journals rejected the paper. He posted it online in 2015. The post was removed in 2016. Hoffmann stopped publishing in 2017. The Humboldt shaft is still sealed. The fence is still there. The sign still says unstable ground. But in 2019, a hiker reported seeing lights coming from the ground near the old shaft location. At night, soft lights, the color of moonlight on snow. Local authorities investigated, found nothing. The hiker was interviewed by a Las Vegas news station. The footage aired once. It has since been removed from the station's archives. I'm not going to tell you what's under Humboldt County. I don't know. What I will tell you is this. Raymond Blackwell was a trained geologist. His field notes are methodical. His sketches are precise. His account is consistent. And someone went to a lot of trouble to make sure nobody else ever saw what he saw. If this story moved you, share it with one person. Just one. The official history of this country has gaps, and those gaps only get filled when enough of us refuse to stop asking questions. I'll see you in the next investigation. Until then, keep your eyes open.